Hello and welcome back. Today's video is me giving you 5 things which I believe we learned from the game against Sunderland, where we lost 2-0 away from home. Without me repeating everything I said in my match reaction, I found it really difficult to find 5 completely different things to talk about in today's video. And I have to be honest with you, I couldn't find a single positive from yesterday's performance. It was that bad, and it's a shame really, because we are a team that's meant to be trying to stay up in this division, and considering the last performance against Sheffield Wednesday, I cannot believe what we witnessed last night. And that kind of brings me to my first point, and that is no improvement in 10 days. We've had about 7 training sessions, Matt Bloomfield said, and I expected the team to perform and start looking a lot better. Instead, we've not seen much improvement since Matt Bloomfield has come to the football club. Now, you might blame that on him. I don't think it's 100% his fault. I just think it's the players. If the players can't perform under 2 managers, it says a lot about them than it does Matt Bloomfield. It's a shame really that the board didn't act sooner. We knew at Middlesbrough away, that 5-1 defeat, we knew we needed to depart manager then and bring in someone new. But we didn't do it. We had established managers available at that point, and we didn't make the call. And I feel like we're paying the price for it. Matt Bloomfield next season in League One, no problem. I think we'll be quite successful under him. But it's going to take a massive rebuild. But we shouldn't even be talking about relegation. That's the main point in all of this. We should not be talking about it. But the fact that we've not seen improvement and we've had a massive gap between games, it's a concern. It's a massive concern. The second thing which I believe we learned from the game against Sunderland was the fact that we had a very young and inexperienced starting 11, and I don't think we can repeat that for Saturday. I don't think it was the correct decision to play Walters and also Joe Johnson as our fullbacks. It's a shame that we don't have the players available really. Alfie picked up a knock. Bell has suffered with illness. It's typical really, because we've had a 10-day break and we've ended up with more players injured when we first entered it. It's so frustrating, these injuries, and I can't wait for these players to go. The ones that keep getting injured, I cannot wait for them just to go through the door and I don't have to see them again, because I'm getting fed up. I've had this topic for the last 3 to 4 years now, and I'm just getting really sick and tired of it. It's doing my head in. You think Tottenham have it bad? We've been having it bad for so long. But anyway, young and inexperienced fullbacks. Joe Johnson, it shouldn't have been him left back, but I guess with Amari Bell out injured, yes, he might have to play. But then again, can Cal Naismith play as the left back instead? Right back, you could have played Hashi. Hashi's more experienced than Walters. Right now, it's not the time to play inexperienced players. Business end of the season. Results mean a lot more. We need to be playing experienced players that can get us through games, and we're just going to keep making really poor decisions, mistakes, and we're going to lose games of football due to our inexperience and young players within the side. Sunderland had a young team out, but they're experienced young players that have played over 100 games. Right now, it's not the time to play Joe Johnson and Walters, in my opinion. Moving on to the third point on what we learned from the game. Going long again. Why do we keep doing it? Why do we keep doing it? And I looked at the stats for this. We went long 66 times in the game. Out of those 66 times, only 21 were successful. That gives you a percentage of 32%. And what we're doing is we're going long to Morris, and we're hitting it with no conviction. Like before, in our promotion season, we used to go long and there was conviction in the way we were doing it. We're just going long for the sake of it because we're getting pressured by the opposition and we're getting scared, we're panicking. Rather than playing it short, we're panicking and we're going long. Our centre-backs, McGuinness and Mans Anderson, were the best passers of the ball in the game last night. Why is our midfield not taking responsibility and being comfortable at receiving the ball on the half turn and being able to keep and retain possession and progress up the field that way rather than going long. Why are we so scared of it? It's really frustrating me. And we've gone long to Morris. Well, Morris had 7 attempts at winning the ball in the air against an opponent, and he only won 2 aerial battles throughout the whole 90 minutes. Not a great performance from him. But then when he does win it or hold off a defender, none of our players are anywhere near Morris. He's so isolated, and it doesn't matter who you play up top. Whoever that striker is going to be, they are going to be so isolated. In fact, since Matt Bloomfield has come to the football club, we've carried on going long. The old methods are still installed within these group of players. Why don't we play Walsh going forward? Walsh is someone who is comfortable at receiving the ball. He likes to play. He likes to keep possession quite well. He's a good passer of the ball. Why don't we play him a lot more? Of course, Shandon Baptiste would be an ideal player if he can stop being made of glass, but we're more likely will not see him again for the rest of this season because of how bad he is. But Walsh is someone who likes keeping the ball, good passer. Why don't we start playing him? I don't understand why we keep playing the same midfield. Moving on to the 4th thing which we learned from the game against Sunderland, and it was Ali's first game in a Luton shirt. Now, I don't think it was his best ever performance. He tried, but I have seen a few comments saying that it's like we've got Musway back within the starting 11, which I find extremely harsh. He was a player for me that wanted to get on the ball and try and make things happen. Sometimes it looked like he was doing too much, but he was the only one really that wanted to do anything with the ball, and he can't be on his own. He can't do that on his own. He needs other players to be on his wavelength. I felt Luton should have done a more counter-attacking approach against Sunderland and just hit them on the break, and using Ali's pace and having someone like Isaiah Jones, if he was in the starting 11, and use our pace out wide and just hit Sunderland on a quick counter. But I just don't think we've even got the quality to do that. Although it's probably not the start he wanted in a Luton shirt, I do see him hopefully being a player that can have an impact with us, whether that's this season or next year. And lastly, the 5th thing which we learned from the game against Sunderland is we need to figure out what Zack Nelson's best position is. I don't think he is a wide attacker. I think he's a lot better in the centre of the pitch. I actually think he's quite comfortable in receiving the ball and keeping possession of the ball. In fact, out of the starting 11 that played last night, he was the 3rd highest in successful passes. So why don't we play him more in the central position where he looks a lot more comfortable? I don't see him as a wide attacker. I just don't think Zack Nelson as a wide attacker is natural. I think he's a lot more natural in the centre where he can take a lot more extra touches on the ball. I think when you're a wide attacker, you need to be a lot more front-footed, and I just don't think Zack Nelson is as front-footed as our other wide attacking players. And we had Josh Bowler on the bench, someone who is very experienced in the Championship. He came on and there was this one moment where he got the ball and he glided past 1 or 2 players, but unfortunately it didn't result into anything because the other Luton players were 10 yards away from him. That was something good there, but ultimately nothing came from it. But I think going forward we need to start seeing more experienced players on the pitch, because I just can't see us grinding out results, especially when we're up against the better sides in the division. So that is the end of the video. Those are the 5 things that I've picked out from the game against Sunderland. Very difficult to pick out 5 things because yet again we're not performing well. It's the same story every single week. We are asking for a miracle on Saturday against Sheffield United. I cannot see us getting a result. I'm going into a game with absolute no hope. It's completely wrong that. Normally with football, you want to go in with at least a slight chance that you can nick something. But the only way Luton nick something at home against Sheffield United is if Sheffield United don't turn up. If they give us a goal, if they score an own goal. I can't see us scoring from open play. And I just don't know how we're going to win games of football, because the mentality, the spineless performances amongst our group of players is just clearly there, and the only way to get rid of it is by getting rid of them and that can only happen in the summer. So yeah, drop a like on the video, comment below what you learned from the game, subscribe to my channel if you are new. If you would like to become a member, the link is in the description below, and I'll see you guys in my match preview tomorrow for the Sheffield United game.